Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
When Ferris Bueller's Day Off hit theaters in 1986, it wasn't just a teen comedy. It became a cultural phenomenon. From wild improvisation and off-the-wall stunts to behind-the-scenes antics the public never knew about, the film is packed with surprising stories. Here are 20 weird, wild, and unexpected facts about Ferris Bueller's Day Off that will make you see the movie in a whole new light. Fact 1. Alan Ruck was genuinely terrified during the Ferrari cliff scene. One of the most iconic moments in Ferris Bueller's Day Off is when Cameron Fry, played by Alan Ruck, watches in sheer terror as his father's priceless Ferrari teeters over the edge of a cliff. What makes this scene so gripping isn't just the tension of the car itself, it's Ruck's genuine fear. He was so nervous that his reactions were completely real, adding authenticity that no special effect could replicate. John Hughes wanted Cameron to convey that perfect mix of panic and helplessness, but instead of coaching him to act scared, he let Ruck's natural fear take over. The car used was a real Ferrari 250 GT California, a rare and extremely expensive vehicle, so the stakes on set were as high as they appear on screen. Ruck later admitted that even knowing the safety precautions, he felt frozen and genuinely panicked during shooting. His hands trembled, his voice cracked, and his expressions of anxiety were all natural. This authentic fear not only heightens the suspense for viewers, but also perfectly captures Cameron's personality, cautious, anxious, and constantly overshadowed by Ferris's reckless confidence. That one terrifying moment over the cliff became an unforgettable scene, precisely because it wasn't just acting, it was real emotion captured on film. Fact 2. Matthew Broderick drove a real Ferrari through downtown Chicago. When you see Ferris Bueller cruising around Chicago in a gleaming red Ferrari, it's easy to think that Hollywood magic made it happen. But Matthew Broderick actually drove a real Ferrari 250 GT California through the streets of downtown Chicago. These weren't just controlled sets. Broderick maneuvered the car along busy streets for close-up shots, navigating the urban landscape with precision and skill. The production team went to extraordinary lengths to ensure safety, with traffic controlled, stunt coordinators on hand, and multiple cars ready for any mishap. Driving such a rare, extremely valuable vehicle, worth millions today, was not for the faint of heart. Broderick had to balance the authenticity of the scene with absolute caution, knowing that one wrong turn could have caused serious damage. The Ferrari wasn't just a prop, it was almost a character in itself, representing status, rebellion, and the high-stakes thrill of a day off. Broderick's confident handling of the car helped make the scenes feel spontaneous, effortless, and exhilarating, as if Ferris himself were truly living life on his own terms. Today, that Ferrari remains one of the most iconic vehicles in film history, immortalized in the wild, carefree adventure that Ferris Bueller takes us on through Chicago. Fact 3. The parade scene featured thousands of real Chicago extras. Few moments in cinema capture pure joy and chaos like Ferris Bueller's parade scene, and part of what makes it so unforgettable is that thousands of extras were real people on the streets of Chicago. John Hughes didn't rely solely on actors. He wanted the crowd's reactions to be authentic, so the downtown streets were lined with everyday people who spontaneously joined in the fun. The scene was filmed in real time, with Ferris performing on a flatbed float, dancing and singing along to Twist and Shout. Coordinating such a massive, unplanned crowd was an enormous challenge. Extras were enthusiastic, onlookers cheered, and the camera captured moments of pure unpredictability that could never have been recreated on a soundstage. Hughes and the crew had to anticipate everything, from traffic interruptions to the crowd's energy, while keeping the film's tone light, funny, and spontaneous. The scene perfectly embodies the spirit of Ferris Bueller himself, charismatic, audacious, and willing to turn ordinary city life into an extraordinary adventure. Watching Ferris on the float feels like witnessing something genuinely alive, not just a choreographed set piece. That sense of uncontrolled joy and real human energy is what has made the parade scene a timeless highlight of the movie. Fact 4. Twist and Shout almost didn't happen. The soundtrack of Ferris Bueller's Day Off is legendary, but few realize that the iconic parade scene almost didn't feature Twist and Shout. John Hughes fought hard to get the Beatles label to approve the song, and it wasn't guaranteed. Licensing music from such a legendary band was notoriously difficult in the 1980s, and the record company initially resisted, citing concerns about how the song would be used. Hughes knew the moment, the scene of Ferris dancing on the flatbed, the crowd cheering, The camera capturing the city's energy needed that particular song. Twist and Shout had the exact combination of high energy, sing-along familiarity, and youthful rebellion that Hughes envisioned. After negotiation, the rights were granted, and the rest is cinematic history. The scene, paired with that song, has become a cultural touchstone, often referenced, parodied, and celebrated as one of the most joyous musical sequences in a comedy film. Without it, the moment would have been funny, yes, but it wouldn't have carried the same explosive energy that defines Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This combination of choreography, music, and real crowd reactions turned an already playful scene into a timeless celebration of rebellion and youth. Fact 5. Many stunts were done by the actors themselves. When watching Ferris, Cameron, and Sloane dart through the streets of Chicago, it's easy to assume Hollywood stunt doubles handled the action. But surprisingly, Matthew Broderick and Ruck performed most of their own stunts. From running down alleys to leaping over obstacles and climbing fences, the actors' physical commitment added realism that no double could fully capture. Broderick, in particular, had to balance comedic timing with athleticism, making Ferris's nonchalant confidence feel effortless. Ruck's awkward, anxious movements contrasted perfectly, emphasizing Cameron's cautious personality against Ferris's daring. Performing their own stunts meant genuine reactions, authentic trips, and sometimes minor bumps and bruises, but it also made the movie feel spontaneous and energetic. John Hughes wanted a natural, lived-in quality in every scene. He wasn't looking for polished stunt perfection. He wanted real reactions from real people in real locations. This decision contributes enormously to the film's enduring charm. Audiences sense that Ferris's world exists beyond the screen, that his adventures could happen in any city with the right combination of charisma and audacity. It's a subtle layer of authenticity that differentiates Ferris Bueller's Day Off from other teen comedies, and it's one of the many production choices that make every chase, leap, and scramble feel alive and unscripted. Fact 6. The Art Institute of Chicago scene was shot on location. When Ferris and Sloane stroll through the Art Institute of Chicago, pausing to admire Georges Seurat's Sunday Afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte, the scene doesn't take place on a soundstage. It was filmed inside the real museum. Hughes' decision to shoot on location added authenticity and allowed the characters to interact naturally with the art and the space. The museum's quiet, contemplative atmosphere contrasts beautifully with the chaotic energy elsewhere in the film, giving viewers a rare moment of calm and introspection. Shooting in a real cultural landmark meant strict coordination with museum staff, lighting adjustments to preserve the artwork, and careful blocking of actors so that their presence felt natural. The scene is deceptively simple. Ferris and Sloane silently observe the painting, Cameron fidgets, and Broderick's charisma subtly dominates the frame. Yet that quietness heightens the emotional stakes, reminding audiences that beneath the comedy, the characters are real teenagers experiencing both wonder and anxiety. Using the actual Art Institute also created an iconic visual moment, grounding the film in Chicago in a way that remains instantly recognizable decades later. Today, visitors to the museum can walk the same halls and feel a tangible connection to Ferris Bueller's adventures. Fact 7.
One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
Matthew Broderick's monologues were fully scripted. It might feel like Ferris is spontaneously chatting directly to the audience, but in reality, every fourth wall-breaking monologue was carefully scripted by John Hughes. Broderick's delivery, smooth, witty, and effortlessly charming, makes it seem off the cuff, but Hughes wrote each line to shape Ferris's character, pace the comedy, and guide the story. This combination of clever writing and Broderick's nuanced performance is what allows the character to transcend a simple teen prankster archetype. Breaking the fourth wall wasn't just a gimmick, it was a storytelling device that gave viewers insider access to Ferris's thoughts, plans, and philosophy. Lines like, "Life moves pretty fast," and quips about authority figures were carefully positioned to punctuate key moments, emphasizing themes of freedom, rebellion, and living in the moment. By scripting the monologues, Hughes ensured that Ferris's charm never felt forced, maintaining a delicate balance between humor, sincerity, and narrative function. Broderick's natural timing and charisma bring the text to life in a way that seems improvisational, yet every word was intentional. The end result is a character who feels like he's speaking directly to each audience member individually, creating an enduring connection that has helped make Ferris Bueller's Day Off a beloved cultural touchstone. Fact 8.
I think I owe you an apology, sir.
Well, I should say you do.
Principal Ed Rooney was based on real-life administrators Principal Ed Rooney. The obsessive school administrator constantly trying to catch Ferris is both hilarious and terrifying. What many don't realize is that Hughes based Rooney on real-life school officials he knew growing up, figures who were simultaneously absurd, authoritarian, and slightly ridiculous. The character embodies that perfect teen-era nightmare, someone whose entire identity revolves around enforcing rules and maintaining order at all costs. By exaggerating these traits, Hughes crafted a comic antagonist who feels believable yet larger than life. Rooney's relentless pursuit of Ferris drives much of the movie's tension and comedy, from surveillance to over-the-top interrogations. Actors' performances, combined with Hughes's intimate understanding of school bureaucracy, give Rooney authenticity. He isn't just a cartoon villain, he's a reflection of the anxieties teens feel under authority. Watching Rooney's plans constantly thwarted by Ferris's ingenuity is satisfying not just because it's funny, but because audiences recognize the universal tension between youthful freedom and institutional control. Hughes's clever exaggeration of real-world observations transforms a common high school figure into one of the most memorable characters in teen film history, a symbol of overbearing authority met with fearless, playful rebellion. Fact 9. Jennifer Grey's Jeannie mirrored. Hughes' real-life sister, Jeannie Bueller, the perpetually exasperated and witty older sister, wasn't just a stock foil for Ferris's antics. John Hughes drew inspiration directly from his own sister's personality, creating a character whose mix of jealousy, humor, and frustration feels authentic. Jeannie's constant suspicion of Ferris's schemes, her sarcastic quips, and her eventual journey from annoyance to self-awareness mirror real sibling dynamics. Jennifer Grey's performance brings this character to life, balancing irritation with genuine emotion and giving Jeannie depth beyond the comedic setup. Scenes like her frantic search for Ferris or confrontations with authority figures highlight her intelligence and emotional complexity, showing that she isn't simply a nagging sibling. Hughes's personal experience shaped these moments, adding subtle authenticity that resonates with viewers who recognize similar sibling relationships in their own lives. Jeannie's story arc, beginning with skepticism, moving through confusion, and ending with understanding, mirrors a realistic emotional journey, grounding the film's comedy in human relationships. This attention to detail is part of what makes Ferris Bueller's Day Off feel timeless. Even the secondary characters have richness and relatability, a result of Hughes' willingness to mine personal experiences for universal truths. Fact 10.
Before, and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
The life moves pretty fast, quote, was written in the script Ferris Bueller's signature line, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it," is one of the most quoted movie lines of all time. What many fans don't realize is that it wasn't improvised by Matthew Broderick. It was carefully written by John Hughes. Hughes intended this line to encapsulate the philosophy of Ferris, a clever, daring teenager who refuses to be confined by rules or monotony. The line is delivered at pivotal moments in the film, emphasizing the fleeting nature of youth, freedom, and joy. Its placement is deliberate, punctuating key sequences like the parade and Ferris's final reflections. What makes the line resonate is Broderick's delivery. He makes it feel personal, like Ferris is speaking directly to each viewer. Hughes' scripting ensured the line wasn't just witty, it carried thematic weight, serving as a moral compass for the film without becoming preachy. Over the decades, this quote has become shorthand for living in the moment, capturing the essence of Ferris's rebellious, joyful approach to life. It's remarkable that a single line, written on a page decades ago, continues to inspire audiences, reminding us why John Hughes' writing and Broderick's performance remain timeless classics. Fact 11.
Here. Adam Lee.
Here.
Adamowski.
The school scenes were filmed at Hughes' alma mater. Much of Ferris Bueller's high school life was filmed at Glenbrook North High School in Illinois, John Hughes' alma mater. This choice wasn't just nostalgic, it lent a sense of authenticity to the environment. The hallways, classrooms, and staircases are real, lived-in spaces, which gives the film a tangible, believable atmosphere. Hughes had a deep familiarity with the rhythm, layout, and culture of his old school, which helped him write scenes that felt true to the teenage experience. Students' interactions, the chaotic hallways, and even the awkwardness of certain classroom moments reflect real-life memories, lending credibility to Ferris's clever antics. Filming on location allowed Hughes and the cinematographer to capture natural lighting, wide corridors, and the kind of everyday details that make the world feel lived in. This approach contrasts with movies shot entirely on sound stages, which often feel sterile or overly polished. By grounding the film in a real high school, Hughes created a setting that resonates with anyone who has navigated lockers, schedules, and cafeteria politics. It's one of the subtle reasons why the movie still feels genuine decades later. The world Ferris, Cameron, and Jeannie inhabit isn't made up. It's a reflection of Hughes' own teenage memories brought vividly to life. Fact 12.
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California.
The Ferrari 250 GT California in the film was real. Cameron's father's Ferrari isn't just a prop, it's a real, extremely rare and valuable car. The vehicle used was a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California, a model so rare that today it's worth millions of dollars. The production used a combination of original cars and replicas for stunts, but close-ups and key driving shots were captured with the real thing. Every scene where the car gleams in the sunlight, or Ferris stylishly maneuvers it, was carefully shot to preserve the vehicle's condition. The Ferrari isn't just a symbol of wealth in the story, it represents Cameron's anxieties, parental pressure, and the adult world he fears. When Ferris takes the car on a wild ride, the stakes feel incredibly real, partly because the car itself is priceless. Handling such a rare, exotic vehicle added tension for the actors and crew. They had to balance safety, performance, and cinematic storytelling without endangering the car. This meticulous attention to realism adds depth to the film, giving viewers a tangible sense of risk and reward, adventure and consequence, all wrapped up in the story of one unforgettable day off. Fact 13.
What is that?
Ferris Bueller, you're my hero.
Broderick and Ruck's physical comedy added realism. Watching Ferris and Cameron sprint across Chicago streets, duck behind cars, or narrowly evade authority figures, it's easy to assume Hollywood stunt teams handled all the action. But Matthew Broderick and Ruck performed much of their own physical comedy, bringing a natural, spontaneous quality to every chase, leap, and scramble. Broderick's nimble confidence as Ferris makes his escapades feel effortless, while Ruck's anxious, stiff movements perfectly reflect Cameron's tension and caution. This combination of athleticism and character nuance makes each movement feel lived in rather than choreographed. Performing their own stunts allowed genuine reactions, sometimes small flinches or stumbles that added realism to the scenes. John Hughes intentionally cast the actors who could handle both the comedy and the physicality, ensuring that humor emerged organically rather than feeling forced. The result is a sense of unpredictability that keeps audiences engaged. You can feel Ferris's energy and Cameron's anxiety in every frame. This decision contributes to the film's enduring charm, making it not just a teen comedy, but a movie that captures the spontaneity and chaos of youth. The actor's commitment to performing these physical moments elevates every chase and prank, cementing the film as a masterclass in comedic timing and realism. Fact 14. The restaurant scene used a real Chicago location. One of Ferris Bueller's most elegant sequences takes place in a fancy restaurant, where he and his friends enjoy a luxurious meal while pretending to be adults on the town. Unlike many Hollywood productions that use constructed sets, this scene was filmed at a real Chicago restaurant, Chez Quis. The location gave the scene authenticity, from the lighting and decor to the way the actors interacted with the space. The presence of real diners and staff added subtle spontaneity, making Ferris's bold antics feel like part of a living environment rather than a staged production. Camera angles had to be carefully planned to capture comedic timing, reactions, and the elegant chaos of the table scene, all without disrupting real patrons. This choice reflects Hughes' commitment to blending comedy with realism. Restaurant isn't just a backdrop. It's a fully realized space where Ferris's charisma can play off the environment. Scenes like the clinking glasses, the subtle stares from waitstaff, and the careful navigation around the restaurant's layout add texture that makes the humor sharper and more grounded. By choosing a real location, Hughes ensures that Ferris's adventure feels both extraordinary and entirely possible. Fact 15. Ferris's Day Off includes real Chicago landmarks. One of the things that makes Ferris Bueller's Day Off so visually memorable is the use of actual Chicago locations throughout the film. From the iconic Wrigley Field to the Art Institute of Chicago, the Sears Tower, and downtown streets, Hughes didn't just tell a story. He mapped Ferris's journey across a living, breathing city. These landmarks aren't mere backdrops. They give the narrative texture and authenticity, showing the city as both playground and character. Shooting on location presented challenges, coordinating crowds, managing traffic, and filming within tight schedules. Yet the payoff is a film that feels vibrant, real, and cinematic. Ferris's exploits are grounded in a tangible world, which helps viewers immerse themselves in his day of rebellion and adventure. The city's architecture, public spaces, and energy enhance the story, making every chase, parade, and museum visit feel lively and authentic. Today, Chicago fans still retrace Ferris's steps, visiting landmarks immortalized on screen, a testament to Hughes' vision of combining humor, character, and real-world settings. By filming on location, Ferris Bueller's Day Off captures the spirit of youthful freedom in a real, recognizable city, giving the story timeless appeal. Fact 16. Production lasted only 6 weeks. It's remarkable that Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a movie full of complex sequences, iconic stunts, and sprawling city locations, was filmed in just 6 weeks. John Hughes and his team worked at a lightning pace, balancing the need for precision with the spontaneity that defines the film. Shooting on real Chicago streets, coordinating extras, handling high-value props like the Ferrari, and filming in museums and restaurants all presented logistical challenges that could have easily delayed production. Yet Hughes' tight schedule forced efficiency and creativity, resulting in a film that feels energetic, alive, and unpredictable. The short production window meant actors like Matthew Broderick and Ruck had to quickly inhabit their characters, nailing both dialogue and physical comedy with minimal rehearsal. Many of the scene's charm comes from this rapid pace. There's an immediacy, a feeling that the adventure is unfolding naturally, not carefully staged. Even decades later, audiences sense the film's kinetic energy. The humor, the tension, the thrills all seem effortless. Hughes' ability to orchestrate a complex production in such a short time is a testament to his skill as a director and storyteller, and it's part of what has helped the film endure as a beloved classic. Fact 17, the film boosted Chicago tourism. After its release, Ferris Bueller's Day Off had an unexpected real-world impact. It boosted tourism in Chicago. Locations featured in the film, from Wrigley Field to the Art Institute and downtown streets, became must-see spots for fans wanting to retrace Ferris's adventures, walking through the same city blocks, standing where Ferris danced on a parade float, or visiting the museum where he admired Seurat's masterpiece created a tangible connection between fiction and reality. Chicagoans saw their city transformed on screen, vibrant and cinematic, and the film showcased its architecture, energy, and character in a way that inspired pride and curiosity. Tour guides even created Ferris-themed walking tours, and the city embraced the association with the iconic teen comedy. This effect speaks to the immersive realism Hughes achieved through location shooting. By choosing actual landmarks rather than constructed sets, the film turned the city into a co-star, giving audiences a sense of adventure grounded in a recognizable place. Decades later, Chicago continues to celebrate its role in the movie, showing how Hughes' vision extended beyond storytelling to influence real-world culture, tourism, and civic identity. Fact 18.
The effect of the anyone? Great Depression.
Many of the school lecture scenes used improvisation. One of the film's most memorable sequences is Ben Stein's economics class. While his monotone delivery was scripted, Hughes encouraged subtle improvisation to enhance authenticity. Stein's deadpan humor, awkward pauses, and small gestures were partly instinctive, while students' reactions, sighs, eye rolls, whispering were allowed to evolve naturally on set. This mix of planned dialogue and improvisation made the classroom feel alive and chaotic, grounding the comedy in reality. It's why those scenes resonate decades later. Audiences can almost feel themselves sitting among the bored students, witnessing Ferris's antics firsthand. Hughes' careful balance of precision and spontaneity ensured humor emerged naturally, making the classroom sequences both hilarious and timeless. Fact 19. Hughes layered adult themes under the comedy. At first glance, Ferris Bueller's Day Off seems like a carefree teen romp, but Hughes intentionally wove subtle adult themes beneath the surface. The film touches on parental pressure, societal expectations, materialism, and the anxiety of growing up. Cameron's fear of his father's Ferrari represents the weight of responsibility, while Ferris's escapades critique conformity and celebrate youthful rebellion. Even characters like Principal Rooney embody adult obsession with control, creating a contrast that heightens the film's humor. These themes never feel forced. They exist subtly, adding depth for viewers who look beyond the laughs. This layered storytelling allows the film to entertain teens while resonating with adults who remember the pressures and exhilaration of youth. Fact 20. Hughes' casting choices made the film iconic. The movie's lasting charm owes much to Hughes' careful casting. Matthew Broderick embodied Ferris's audacious charm. Ruck captured Cameron's neurotic energy, and Jennifer Grey brought authenticity and humor as Jeannie. Each actor added nuance through timing, improvisation, and physicality, making the characters feel real and relatable. Hughes understood that chemistry among the leads would drive the comedy and emotional depth, and his casting choices ensured the story wouldn't just be funny, it would endure as a cultural landmark, celebrated for wit, heart, and charisma for decades. And there you have it, 20 weird and surprising facts about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The movie that didn't just capture a day in the life, it captured a spirit, a thrill, and a heartbeat that still resonates decades later.